But
I know.
that like
You know them?
I think I do. Um, you know, this morning I was trying to remember the name of this one movie I was obsessed with when I was like 14. I can't remember what it was called, but I can remember the plot so clearly. It took place in some generically Pacific Northwest city, or maybe it was San Francisco. Either way, it was far away, small but still cosmopolitan, very green. I can't remember the main character's name, but she was played by Rachel Lee Cook. This was one of her hot arty girl roles, thick-rimmed glasses, that kind of thing. She attempted to be tomboyish. She tried to ride a skateboard but sucked at it. She was casually into comics. I remember Rachel Lee Cook's best friend was played by Julia Stiles. Rachel Lee Cook liked Julia Stiles because she was thoughtful and able to laugh at herself. Qualities Rachel Lee Cook wished she had. The movie starts in Julia Stiles' bedroom. Julia Stiles grabs her guitar and sits down on the shag rug next to her bed. Rachel Lee Cook sits down beside her, notebook in hand. She's helping Julia Stiles write a song for next month's open mic. Julia Stiles transferred schools halfway through junior year and ended up in the same AP Lit class as Rachel Lee Cook. They immediately hit it off. They were both into Baz Luhrmann films and slam poetry and pretending to like espresso. Rachel Lee Cook would never perform at an open mic night herself, but she loved watching Julia Stiles turn her angsty poetry into lyrics with a life of their own. They write for a while and then drift off right there on Julia Stiles' floor. Shortly after midnight, Rachel Lee Cook wakes up and sees that she has 2 missed calls from her mom. She says goodbye to Julia Stiles and then steps out into the cold night. As she walks the 9 blocks to her house, she feels safe and contented. I remember, despite being weirdos, Rachel Lee Cook and Julia Stiles had a certain degree of social mobility. The best example of this is Sarah Michelle Gellar's character. She's definitely popular, class president, rich, conveniently absent parents. And yet, despite being of a higher social rank, she's always been really nice to Rachel Lee Cook, because if Rachel Lee Cook is some cute, arty sidekick for her, Rachel Lee Cook can't figure out how Sarah Michelle Gellar feels about Julia Stiles, but she seems willing to include her anyway. During lunch, Sarah Michelle Gellar stops by their table and invites them both to a party at her place the following night. Later that day, Rachel Lee Cook and Julia Stiles are walking home, and they talk about the party, and they talk about how weird it is that these popular kids want to hang out with them. Rachel Lee Cook knows that Sarah Michelle Gellar has always had a soft spot for her, which Julia Stiles finds intriguing. Eventually, they get to Julia Stiles' house and walk upstairs to her bedroom. A Sheryl Crow poster hangs above the desk. There are 3 pairs of Converse in the closet. A decorative mosquito net, artfully draped in Christmas lights, hangs above the bed. Julia Stiles goes to show Rachel Lee Cook how the song is coming, and Rachel Lee Cook just closes her eyes and listens. I wear all black, unpopular, Daria backpack, unpopular, I've got the Shrek soundtrack, unpopular, I'm so into you, I like your pink shoes. Rachel Lee Cook gets home later that night, crawls into bed, and immediately knocks out. She has this dream that her and Julia Stiles are at the park. They're sitting on a park bench when Julia Stiles leans in and kisses her. Rachel E. Cook feels strange and not like herself. She looks down and sees that her hands are not hers, but her alarm goes off before she can figure out whose body her dream self has been occupying. Flustered and embarrassed, she tries to put the dream out of her mind, not wanting to know what it means. She gets ready and heads to school, grateful that her and Julia Stiles have completely different schedules on Fridays. Julia Stiles pulls up to Rachel E. Cook's house around 9 p.m. Rachel E. Cook gets in the front seat, and Julia Stiles compliments her on her outfit, which today makes Rachel E. Cook feel weird. She laughs nervously in response. But Julia Stiles doesn't notice. She's stoked about this party. She tells Rachel E. Cook that during third period, Sarah Michelle Gellar told her that she invited these college kids she knows. This catches Rachel E. Cook's attention. Her and Julia Stiles constantly talk about how much high school blows. They wonder if this party could be their first taste of college life, where people actually have some perspective about the world. That night, Rachel E. Cook would meet someone who would change her life. They pull up to Sarah Michelle Gellar's house with its perfectly landscaped yard already littered with red Solo cups. They walk inside and look around, and everybody's there. Rachel E. Cook and Julia Stiles are astounded, but kind of proud that they've climbed this far up the high school social ladder. They walk into the kitchen where Sarah Michelle Gellar is pouring beers. She's tipsy, but genuinely excited to see them. She hands them each a foamy cup of something terrible and tells them that she has some friends she wants them to meet. She drags them into the den, where the atmosphere is noticeably different. The music's more subtle, the lighting's more chill. This girl walks over to them. She's wearing Docs, ripped jeans, a vintage sweater over top of a flannel. Is that eyeliner or just yesterday's mascara? Sarah Michelle Gellar excitedly introduces them. I can't remember the character's name. She was probably named after like the wife of some famous poet or something like that, but she's played by Clea Duvall. Apparently, she's an art history major at the nearby liberal arts college. But to Rachel E. Cook, she seems like she's from another universe. She's 19, she's popular, has an anarchist scene. She's popular, do you know where she's been? She's popular, she's seen girls like you. She knows what you're going through. Rachel E. Cook and Clea Duvall are immediately drawn to each other. They become those people at parties that never leave that one couch because they're so absorbed in their inappropriately deep conversation. Clea Duvall tells Rachel E. Cook about bands that Rachel E. Cook had never even heard of, about weird performance art pieces she'd been in, and she asks Rachel E. Cook questions and listens as if she's actually interested in her answers. It feels like they talk about everything. Their hopes, their dreams, their fears, their trauma. Suddenly, Rachel E. Cook realizes she hasn't seen Julia Stiles or Sarah Michelle Gellar in a while. When did they leave? An hour? 2 hours ago? Time had stopped for Rachel E. Cook. Clea Duvall had affirmed her belief that there's a great big world out there and she can't get there fast enough. She knows she should go find her friends, though. She tells Clea Duvall she'll be right back, and Clea Duvall says she hopes so. Rachel E. Cook walks back through the living room and into the kitchen. She opens the sliding glass door and walks past the stoners to the other side of the deck. She walks down the stairs that lead to where the pool is. She turns a corner, and she sees Julia Stiles and Sarah Michelle Gellar standing by the other side of the pool. She takes a breath to go call to them, but then stops herself. They're close, facing each other, holding hands. Rachel E. Cook realizes what she's walked in on. At that moment, Julia Stiles feels Rachel E. Cook stare on her, and you can tell from the look on Julia Stiles' face that she knows that whatever her and Sarah Michelle Gellar have done has hurt Rachel E. Cook. A line that none of them can see had been crossed. Trust had been broken. Rachel E. Cook runs out the back gate and into the alley. She feels hurt and confused and angry, but she's not sure why. Why did this feel like a betrayal? Her and Julia Stiles were just friends, just deeply devoted, codependent friends. She begins the long walk home. She's looking forward to it in a way. She needs to clear her head. As she's walking home, she breathes in the smell of suburbia. Clean, bare, intentional. She thinks about everyone she's met that night and everything that's happened. It feels like something's ended, but also like something's begun. She feels lost, but not stuck. She's not sure how long she'd been walking for, but suddenly a car pulls over in front of her. She's cautious at first, but it's hard to be suspicious of the blue VW van with paisley curtains in the back window. The driver's side door opens and Clea Duvall steps out. "Do you want to ride home?" she asks. Rachel E. Cook can't believe how self-assured Clea Duvall is. She's just standing there, arms crossed, a slight smirk on her face, waiting for Rachel E. Cook to respond. Rachel E. Cook feels like this is more than a ride home. It feels like the stakes are high, but she's not sure how. What's being implied? Finally, she breathes, mirrors Clea Duvall's smirk, and starts to walk towards the passenger side door. 2 step inside, she's popular. What's implied? She's popular. What have I got to hide? She's popular, and she thinks I'm cool. Am I missing anything? thank you to the Music Gallery for having us. We're masc4masc. A big thank you to our bubble for helping us make this possible. Thanks for listening.